they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
Hey everyone, Dan here. May 28th, 2018, Memorial Day here in America. Thought I'd give a little Crypto Capital Venture salute to all those who've served and given the ultimate sacrifice in protecting us and this country and the freedom that we have. And also wanted to start off with this tweet real quick by David, good friend of mine. Tweeted, please remember today not just those who have lost their lives through dying physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. War's casualties come in many forms. Some you may know and love, and others you unknowingly meet every day. God bless, never forget. Thought that was a great point. Thank you, David, part of the Litecoin family. Many of you might even follow him. If you don't, I'll put a link in the description for you to go follow David. Awesome guy. Let's jump into Litecoin a little bit. Let's talk about it. We are at a critical point. So we're going to look at charts a little bit, but and I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think the mental aspect of what is happening right now is something very interesting and important to also look at and track, because I think we are on the brink of potentially, not saying this is definitely going to happen, but we're on the brink of maybe mass capitulation if what we don't want to happen happens. And let's talk about that a little bit. So here we are on the weekly, nothing new. We're obviously hopefully forming a new higher low right here. We're very close to that 109 area that we talked about. We're in that oversold territory on the weekly, and going over to the daily, we can kind of see how oversold we are there as well. In the stock RSI, we're just hanging below this 20 line. And you can even see on the stock RSI, you can see these lower highs that we've actually even been talking about on the 4 hour, and we'll look at that in a second. So right now, Litecoin's at 113.88 as I do this video, and again, still hanging down here on the RSI below the 40 critical area. We need momentum, we need volume, we need some bulls to step in right now. And one thing I'm also noticing, which I've been waiting to see if it happens, and it has happened. I didn't really point this out in the last video, but what is this, 22nd, 23rd, we have the 50 EMA crossing below the 200 EMA. You can see this, we kind of had that 50 creeping down towards that 200 back in, let's see, when was that? This was in mid-April, I believe. So yeah, April. And then we got some momentum and we created some separation between the two. And then now in this most recent pullback, we've crossed, which is something interesting to look at. So if there ever was a time to have the bulls step in, it would be now, to kind of turn that around, as well as create this new higher low that we've been talking about. And you can see it on the 4 hour. So basically, we did the video, I did a live stream. Where was that? Here's on the 4 hour, probably right around here. Did a live stream right around there. We were right above 120, and I said, don't be surprised if we retest 115, which was this previous low that we had on this 4 hour. Because you remember on this 4 hour, I talked about these lower highs that we've been forming on the 4 hour, as well as these lower lows. And this was our most previous lower low at 115. So when we kind of were creating this new lower high around 120, I said, don't be surprised if we test 115. And you can obviously see we've tested it. And not only have we tested it, but we went below it and we formed a new lower low at 112. So going back to the 4 hour, you see that red line right there. That's that previous bottom at 109, this higher low in this big triangle that we have. So right here, 109. And I mean, really, we need to form this higher low right now. We don't want to touch 109. And that's why I say we need these bulls to step in. And so I guess in terms of 109 is, in my opinion, our last line of defense before we get close to that mental breakdown of the market. And I say that because I see in the comments, I see on forums, obviously it happens all the time when we just do these dips and these downturns. It happens all the time. You see such negative comments, and I think those negative comments are a reflection of fear happening in people maybe that are maybe too invested, maybe spending more than they can afford to lose. So I think those negative comments that are out there that you might see as well are a reflection of fear. So I guess we shouldn't look at those comments too much, but we've been here before. We've had these downturns, and each time we finally did create a bottom. So right now we're looking for this bottom, and we want it to be here, but I want to throw caution out there, which I do often throw caution, is this 110 to 100 area. If we enter into that channel, I'm going to be watching very closely, because if we lose that support at 100, which was this low back here in this thing keeps getting in my way. 100 back in February, the beginning of February. If we break that, I think there's going to be some capitulation. I think things can get kind of crazy and even more volatile than they've been. So just want to throw caution out there. But right now, I guess if you want to watch anything on today, Monday, May 28th, it would be, you can really look at the hourly. You get a really good sense of that 4 hour that we looked at with these lower highs and these lower lows. So 112 is kind of our previous low. Hopefully the bulls step in. Hopefully we can turn around here. But you can also see this resistance that we've had on the 50 EMA on the hourly. So really interesting to watch on the short term as well. But again, just continuing to look for a support, look for a bottom to bounce off of, because look at this. I mean, we've been in this oversold for weeks now on the daily, and it's no different than where we've been before. Oversold for weeks on the daily, and usually we eventually do have a bounce. So hopefully we get one of those, but you can't bank on it. You can't just expect, all right, we've been oversold for so long, because anything can happen. Hopefully I don't have to start doing videos, which I've talked about, is if we kind of fall below this channel, and if we create a new low, no longer have these higher lows, but a new low, and hopefully we don't have to start talking about those types of videos. But again, my whole thing is that 100 to 110 area, probably not going to be, I'm probably going to be on the sidelines more watching, and that might prove to be a mistake if we bounce off like 105 or something and go crazy. But for me personally, that's just my comfort level. That's what I'm doing. So those are my thoughts on the market right now. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you're doing well out there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this long weekend. I know I have been relaxing, hanging out with family, loving life, and appreciate all of you for just coming by, for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of the channel. As always, I will see you in the next video, and God bless.